Welcome to this vital moment in church revitalization. I'm Mark Eldridge with the American Anglican Council. Now, I want to make a football illustration or analogy here regarding this difficult season that we find our churches in during 2020. And what I want to do is try to make the case that one way to make the most of this difficult season is by using it to prepare for the next season that's to come. Now, I kind of hesitated to use a football illustration because my fear is that it might bring up negative emotions in you, like national anthem controversies, or if you're grieving the loss of the regular schedules of college football this fall. I mean, these are difficult times. But I want to ask that you park your negative emotions about football off to the side for a second and just try to hear what the broader point I'm trying to make in order to help your church in this season and the season to come. So I'm a football fan. I love football, and as a football fan, I hate the off season. It's just the worst. There's nothing to watch. I don't like really other sports that much. So I'm just waiting for the regular season to come so I can start watching football again. And so the off season is the worst as a fan. But for the players, there really isn't an off season. I mean, yes, there's a season between when the games end and when the regular season games begin again. But for the best football players, they are using that, quote, off season as a time to prepare and strengthen their bodies and train and get ready for the next regular season that's coming up. As I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, which I know, pray for me, but I'm a loyal fan, and as a Jaguar fan, it kills me now to say anything good about Tom Brady, who is the former longtime quarterback of the New England Patriots. But there's a reason why he's known as the GOAT. That is the greatest of all time for those of you who aren't football fans. But it's well documented how well he takes care of his body and trains and strengthens himself in order to be ready for the next regular season. He's very intentional about caring for his body to prepare for what's coming next. And my main point here is that how one takes care of their body in the off season has a tremendous effect on how effective they are in the regular season when that comes. Well, that's true of football players, obviously, but I'm trying to make the case here that it's true for our local church, the body of Christ, our local church bodies as well. So think about this. 2020, it feels to me an awful lot like an off season. It certainly is off, wouldn't you say? We're not doing things the way we always have and how we normally would because things are off. So the question I want to ask is how can we make the most of this season, of this off season, and use it as a time to prepare and equip ourselves, strengthen our churches for the regular season whenever that comes. And there will be a time when this season ends and we'll be in some sort of new regular way of doing things again. I don't know what that will look like exactly, but it's going to come. So how can we make the most of this off season to be building up and strengthening your local church body for that time when it comes, to be ready when the next season comes? Well, with church health, and I'm always thinking in terms of the vitals, and that's why these are called vital moments, because there's 5 basic areas that make a church healthy. And so that's a good place to start. If you want to make the most of this off season, you could start thinking about how can I build up and strengthen my local church body in these 5 areas. And again, there's other things too, but this is just a place to start, thinking about how can we be stronger and develop our church in the area of vision for evangelism mission, and identifying who are the unchurched we really are called to reach in our community. What are our strategies? What things can we put in place to have ready to go when the regular season comes in terms of vision and evangelism and mission? How can you be building up and strengthening your worship services now, and for when more visitors will start coming again, and when you open back up fully, things like that, or online as well? Also, how could you be building up and strengthening in this off season your processes for discipleship and developing plans for how you move people from lost and unchurched to mature missional disciples? Do you even have a process? This would be a great time to develop one or to tweak the one you have. Do you need to strengthen your how you love and care for your people and systems of caring for and loving one another? This is a good time to develop and strengthen those things. And it's a time to develop strategies for lay mobilization and how you can get more people involved in ministry. You might not be able to do much with it right now, but you could be setting the table for when the regular season comes, where you're ready to go to mobilize your people for ministry, or more lay people for ministry. Well, those are just some thoughts. You could be thinking about a bunch of other things. But so the point here is, while we're in this quote off season, how can you make the most of this time and getting ready for the season that's to come? And as always, if we can be helpful for you to think about these things and to analyze these things for your church, don't hesitate to reach out to us here at the American Anglican Council at www.americananglican.org. Well, God bless, and we'll see you for our next Vital Moment.